In Guyana, as suicide has destroyed the ranks, or is destroying the ranks of our youth today. So we are here because we believe that we could make a difference, and we know that you out there, there are people who believe that they could make a difference as well, and we are willing to work with you collectively, to join with you, and to do anything within our ability to make a difference. This evening I have with us here Brother Lachman, we have Christina, Manisha, and Mr. Chase. From the day I have met Mr. Chase, he has been a very generous man, and he has sponsored this program. And I want to thank him for his magnanimous spirit, and may God reward him abundantly for his kindness. So I want you to sit back and relax and enjoy a program on suicide. Enjoy it, meaning that receive the information that we will provide you, as we are going to talk about suicide, the causes of suicide, and what could be done to prevent it. Because suicide is entirely preventable and avoidable if we understand how to cope with certain adversities that confront us. So without any going further, I'm going to hand it over to Brother here, Lachman.
Right, good evening, viewers. Well, basically, suicide in Guyana is a very serious social problem, and throughout the years, it has been increasing rapidly. Now, according to research, Guyana is ranked as the highest rate of suicide in the world, and it's sickening to know that over 40% of suicide is caused by agricultural pesticide. Now, I think suicide has to do with one mind, and because of the set, because it's set to do it, and they are not changing back. Now, in recent time, Guyana has seen an increase in suicide, which involve families, friends, and also involve the nation as a whole, right? So many persons tend to ask this question, why? Now, the answer is basically hopelessness. Now, when you're talking about hopelessness, is that person don't have any types of faith within them, or anyone to influence or motivate them that yes, they're going to get out of this tragedy. They think that there is no other way than suicide, but forget it. There is a lot of ways that you can get out of this tragedy, suicide. But you, as an individual, you have to try to cope with it, and also you have to try to make your mind hard in order not to go into that direction. Now, we also have other factors that causes suicide, which can be basically like a divorce or a breakup in a relationship. Now, that is something that is happening very frequently. So whenever that happens, you would find that people think that there's only one way, which is suicide. They either go and pick up a chemical and use it. They think that there is no other way, there is no other life partner out there, but no, that is not it. You can also have people who lost their jobs, or who lost their house, or lost money, right? That tends to bring them into a state of depression. Talking about depression, now many people die by suicide because of negative thoughts within them. There is no positivity within that person. You always find them thinking negative, which may lead them to suicide. But I want you to know that suicide is not the only way. Well, definitely it's not the way. And suicide, according to all the religious texts, is a sin. So that is what I have to my views that I have to share about suicide so far.
Thank you very much. Christina,
Namaste.
what's your take on it? Go ahead.
Namaste viewers, I am Christina and I will be giving you a brief heading of suicide and prevention tips. Suicide is a desperate attempt to escape suffering that has become unbearable. Blind by hopelessness, isolation, helplessness, low self-esteem, abuse. Now, suicide is not the answer. Suicide is not the answer to your problem. I am, as a youth, representing the youth, and I am here today to tell you that suicide is not the answer. To overcome suicidal thought, go to temple, go to church, go to masjid, pray to the Lord. As my colleague has said, suicide is a sin, and it's definitely a sin. Suicide is an antisocial act, a selfish act. When you commit suicide, you don't think of anybody, you don't think of your loved one, you don't think how they will feel when you do such an act. But believe me, it is really a sadful situation to those parents whose child has been committed suicide, who is victim of suicide. Now, get yourself involved in activities around the society. Go to people who you can talk to, loved one who you can talk to and tell your problems to, who can help you in overcoming such a suicidal thought and making you feel like you want to live again and motivate you to look forward and pass through the dark time in your life. Like everybody's life, like in my life, there is also darkness and there is also light, but you just have to get faith. And faith is one of the most important factors in life. As long as you have faith, you can pass through anything. You can trust me, you can pass through anything. I am telling you from experience, don't think of suicide. Suicide is not the answer. It's not the answer to solve your problem. Also, if you know a friend or a family member who is considering suicide, don't be afraid to talk to them. Talk to them and tell them. Help them overcome. Show them a way. Show them to the light. Help them. Don't be afraid, because when you're afraid and you know this and you keep this down to yourself, then you will regret afterward when you heard that, oh, my friend has passed away, and you know the reason and you're afraid. Talk to them. Bring people to talk to them and show them the right way. Because when you're in such a situation, you find yourself in a crossroad. Like there's east, west, north, south, and you don't know where to head. Like everywhere you turn, like nothing is possible. It cannot help to solve your problem. You think all the locations are dark, but it isn't, my friend. You have to focus on yourself, and you can do it. You can overcome any darkness in your life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Manisha, what would you like to say? What's your take on suicide? Okay, Mr. Chase, what's your take on it?
Okay. Let me say Swagatam to all of you. Namaste, Namaskar, my humble Sitaram. Assalamu alaikum, and good night or good evening to all of you viewers out there. It's indeed a pleasure to us, all of us, to be here this afternoon to help in some situation about suicide. And it's indeed that we can make a difference, not all a difference, but we can make the difference, the solution. We can have one word can change a woman, a man, a children's life in commit suicide. And it's indeed important that we can go forward in our life to think positive, to know what we are doing and how we can help ourselves not to go to the devil part. Because suicide is a real devil all the time, because he wants space. And sooner they have us want the space, they will take a space if you give them a chance in suicide. We spoke about this, and the important thing that we want to try to help our brothers and sisters out there. This month of March, this is one of the month, for me, a very bad month, where two of my brothers who passed away, and my cousin and my grandfather, three of them commit suicide, and my grandfather dies by natural, you know. So this month is very bad for me, that when I sit here, it's just kind of sour when we talked about this, suicide comment. But as Christine said, faith is one of the most important things in any human being life. You know, we have to take life very serious. And life is not something that we have to go to the market to buy, right?
That's true.
You know, we should we understand when we say we all of us. It's not we go and purchase life. Life is not come so. Our structure, the Bhagavad Gita has been said, Krishna, the bodies lie there. Krishna has things so million times to transfer this little soul, this little light into human body. And you know what we want to do? We want to destroy you. We want to play God to take in our own life. But that's not the sense. The body will go probably burned or the earth, but the soul is a recycle. So there's all questions we have to answer because the body is gone. So we have to continue this, and we have to understand why should we commit to ourselves. Then this beautiful life or this beautiful body that we have, cherish it, and I'm sure that our viewer outside should take it into consideration that life is very serious.
And it's
And
very
life
precious.
is what?
It's very precious.
God. Thank you.
Beautiful, Mr. Chase. You know, suicide is a progressive stage of stress, which, if left untreated, evolve into depression. And depression is a triggering cause of suicide. Let me give you a quick example. Stress, which is a accumulated psychological distress that manifests itself both in behavior, physical changes, emotional and behavioral consequences. So stress does not necessarily or only affect us emotionally, but it affects our psychological or physiological function and in our behavior. When we are stressed out, it is when our mind is bombarded with an array of negative emotions, from sadness to bored, when you feel bored, when you feel you're angry, you hate somebody, you feel lonely, you feel isolated, you feel alone. So when now stress is something that is normal in life, you know. We cannot prevent stress entirely. But what we could prevent the impact of it. We could cushion the impact by doing certain things that would alleviate the negative effect that stress has on us. For instance, when you are stressed out, you could walk, you could exercise, you could meditate, you could pray, you could speak to somebody who would listen to you and vent the emotion, get it out of you. Because if you suppress it, if you bury it deep in your subconscious mind, and it eventually will come up again. Now, stress, you know, an earthquake is caused by stress on the plates. You have tectonic plates. And when there is interior difficulty and pressure and stress on the plates, there is a rupture. So even down in the earth, when there is a stress on the tectonic plate and that stress is overbearing, there's an explosion. A rubber band can only stretch to a certain degree, and eventually the elasticity will rip and it will stretch. So we we have a threshold for stress, but at a certain point, if that stress is left, we could snap too, we could explode. So in nature you see it, but stress is an everyday thing that we must face. Now, stress, if allowed, would progress into depression. Depression now is a mental illness. It's a real illness. And people who are depressed because a stigma is attached to them, like someone with HIV or AIDS, they feel embarrassed to access treatment because somebody would think negative of them or ridicule them or laugh at them. So they suffer silently. And at a certain point, you begin to feel hopeless. You begin to feel worthless. Your self-esteem, as Christina said, begins to diminish. And you lost your sense of worth and value. But suicide is a selfish thing because what you're doing, you feel that you could escape an adversity or a problem. And what you do, or you're being spiteful. My mother doesn't want me to marry this man. Or my mother doesn't want me to marry this woman. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take our lives. We're going to commit suicide to spite them, to hurt them in taking our lives. But if you're a believer in God and in the Quran and in the Bible, and you believe in life after death, that there's an ongoing thing, so you are not escaping it here. You still have to answer. You still have to face the consequences for that decision. So if you believe in a hereafter or life after death, you're not going anywhere. You're still going to have to face the problems that you ran away from and then taking your life that God gave you. Now, the funeral parlor is big business today. And the funeral parlors are not filled with grandma and grandpa. It's our teenagers. You know the pain a mother feels when she has to bury her child? There's a hole inside of her that can never be filled again. And the pain that she will experience watching have to bury or burn a child is that pain she will feel when she gave birth to her child. Children are supposed to bury their parents, not parents burying children. So the thing is all twisted, and it's a serious problem that we have here. As Lakshman said, Guyana is #1 in suicide per capita in the world. Imagine that the quarantine is leading the way. This is like the breeding ground for suicide. And you know what? We have access, easy access to pesticides, as he said, to guns, to weapons. So the means to commit suicide is available. You can walk into any store without a reason and purchase pesticides or some poison to kill yourself. That shouldn't be. We have access, easy access to the means to kill ourselves. Go ahead, Mr. Chief. Just want to share that with our viewers.
Why I listen to you here? I feel the government of Guyana should, like children from under 18 years, not to go to purchase those things, you know, because probably some mother or some uncle sent me to go buy this poison spray, you know, and the person who selling, next you know, somebody underneath the bed drinks some poison. A few days I went in Yamsuna Hospital, and there's a girl, she drank the poison. So she asked her mother, pray for me, that God give me one more chance, right? One more chance. Now you want God to give you one more chance. You don't think, you don't listen, you don't learn, you don't smell, you don't taste. But let's forget, is the mind's control. So what happened? The mind forget about everything and to commit yourself suicide, right? And so this is very important that we have to understand. And sadness, depression, and all this kind of things between ourselves. Sometimes, you know, as we talk, we have to get so much of money probably for the month to pay to the bank. And sometimes, you know, we don't have this. And continue, we hold the bank. And there is no way the income can come from. And so, sit down in the family, well, somebody makes a decision between themselves and say, you know what happened? This is enough. I will have to take my life. Don't think about God. God is the resource of any man or any woman or any child. He's the creator. And if a person have God between their mind and they focus in God first, then suicide, something definitely happen. Something is definitely happen. And Christine has been said that sports is very important. Young people comes out. But in another question, I want to say about parents. It's important that parents loan the children, send them out, have so much of trust between them.
Yes, yes.
But the most important that children must have that trust between themselves. That, you know, mom and dad send me into this track, let me don't win another way, you know.
Different direction.
Yeah, and so if parents sit down, taught the children, send them to church, masjid, and mandir, it probably gonna learn a little more better. And I see this a couple of days, you know. Many of us goes to mandir, mosques, and churches, but we don't listen to the preacher, the pandit, the imam. You know, we don't listen to what they said. As soon as it's done, it's better for us. Nothing we come out there for. No matter how much a man speak or how much a woman speak there, but we don't come out with even not a single of what you learn there. You have a different thought. Understand?
Yes, Mr. Chase, if I may add something, like, for instance, when you speak about this chemical, like, let's say, for example, a place like Blackbush Polder, I think shopkeepers, they have to be very sensitive when you're selling these types of pesticides. Because, let's say, an uncle or a dad send a child, sometimes that might not be the case, right? The child might go, because we have situation like that where the child go purchase the pesticide and they use it for suicide. Now, I think the shopkeeper, they have to be very careful and they have to be very sensitive when it comes to this thing. Maybe ask a few questions about what is the purpose of purchasing this pesticide, or, you know, do some little background check on it so you to be on the safe side.
Or don't sell
And
it in the
another
Bangladesh.
thing, yeah, I think the law is there that a person should not sell pesticide to anyone under 18. But, you know, again, Blackbush Polder, something that law is not, it is there, but it's not being implemented or reinforced into society. Also, another thing that I may want to add is that with the same pesticide, you have them, like, for example, in the home, they are easy access. They're not stored in a safe place, or, you know, anyone in the home can go and gain access to these pesticides. So that can so I would advise people there to, you know, to keep their pesticide in a safe place, lock them up so that it won't be easy access to their children and so forth. Yes.
Parents need to guide their child too. When you see your child depressed, talk to them, find out what's it, why they look so depressed, what's in their mind, what's going on in their life. Parents play an important role in a child's life. Parents are said to be the guru. Okay, they don't know what's wrong from right. They are so depressed, they don't know what to do, they don't have anybody to turn to. Now, parents need to observe their child. Need to observe what they're doing at times, you know, like what they're thinking, need to know about their child life. So like when they're depressed, they could talk to you. Parents need to be open to their child. So your child are free to talk to you about any situation that's bothering them.
Go ahead. I said go ahead.
You know, so I would say that parents play a major role in a child life. So parents out there, if you see your child depressed or they don't look happy at all, find out, talk to them, ask them what's happening in their life. You need to pay certain attention, not because your child passes certain age, you're like, oh, they're big man and big woman for themselves. They could make decisions, but no, a child needs guidance. Sometimes they are not so mature to make their own decision. You need to help them and show them ways. Don't be harsh to them, just talk to them and tell them that, hey, Sam, this is not the correct way, you need to look at this. You know, let them think to their own self that, okay, what mom just tell me? You know, I will be thinking, okay, maybe she's saying the right thing. You know, or do a little research and find out stuff, talk to your friends about it. And if you see any of your friends depressed, or, you know, they're like in suicidal thoughts, and you know, you see them feel awkward and they don't mix with you at all, like if you used to hang out a lot. So now Sam, Pam and Ajay come and Manisha's not there. So Manisha used to come and hang out every day and she used to be the happiest. Like out of all, you know, she used to come with all the ideas and everything. And then like a certain day, Manisha's pulling out. So now you would be thinking now that, why is Manisha behaving so awkward? She don't mix with us at all. You know, she's not the same person. Don't be afraid to go talk to them. You might be thinking that, oh, maybe she will be angry if you ask her. But no, talk to her. Don't be afraid to bring up the topic. Ask her what's happening in her life and let her tell you, and she will tell you. And then you will explain to her and try to tell her things and help her to sort out her life problem. Maybe she's having financial problem, or she's having any other sort of problem that's based in her life. So I